very good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another episode on the Life Signatures Radio, episode number 1722. We're continuing to go strong each and every single day. We wake up to a new episode. God has given us the grace, the ability, the power, the health, the strength, and the focus and the passion to continue doing this, and the messages to continue to talk about these topics. This podcast is about purpose, it's about productivity, it's about resilience every working day, and any other topic related to those, close to those. I've always said that I do believe that the human who is successful has these three pillars. Without any one of these three pillars, there's not going to be success in your life one way or another. And so today we are going to continue talking about why self-deficiency is one of the biggest weapons against your success. Self-deficiency is the biggest enemy of your progress. And we've been talking about how it manifests itself. We've done two of those. Today, let us go ahead and do the third one. It's gonna be interesting. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
Growing up, I always saw very bizarre scenes on TV during Easter. During Easter, especially in the Philippines, I tell ya, you will see gross images and even videos of people beating themselves up, basically imagining that they're taking the place of Jesus Christ and literally having themselves nailed on a cross. Literally. You guy. And I'm going to come back to that, but let me just do for you a recap. We're talking about the manifestations of self-deficiency. What is self-deficiency? Is an inside work where we feel less of ourselves. And as a result, we don't live to the fullest of our potential, and our success is not going to be available. That's what self-deficiency is. And there are very many facets, or there are very many manifestations of self-deficiency. The first one we said is self-doubt. Secondly is low self-esteem. And you notice that these things, they have the word self in there. Self, right? But the third one that I want to talk about is connected to what I've just shared with you about the Philippines and people hanging themselves on the cross and beating themselves up and so on. It is called self-abasing. Abasing yourself. This is interesting. And people can genuinely think that self-abasing is a form of humility. And they walk around with this false form of humility, thinking that it's helping them, but on the other hand, it is actually destroying them. Self-abasing. What is self-abasing? It is basically taking an opportunity to bash yourself, beat yourself up, right? The opposite of what people normally do in terms of affirmations. You know what an affirmation is? You go to the mirror and you say, I am glad that I am powerful. I am glad that I am lovable. I am glad that I am wonderful and I'm glad that I am beautiful. You tell yourself all these beautiful things. Self-abasing is the opposite. Will you believe it? You by your own admission, by your own words, you beat yourself up. I tell you, it's a sad thing, and it's triggered by one thing or another. It's especially when you have done something wrong. You've caught yourself doing something wrong, probably something that is below your values and below your standards. And you judge yourself ever so harshly, as if you don't deserve. Even God himself, God gives grace to the humble. God is merciful. God is gracious. Doesn't treat us as our sins deserve. But let me tell you, the biggest judge of humans are humans. I was in a WhatsApp group yesterday where humans are spending a whole day judging another human. Benny Hinn, this preacher called Benny Hinn, was in Kenya, and so this so-called Christian WhatsApp group, guys were there spending the whole day, nearly the whole day, saying how Benny Hinn is a charlatan. They are judging Benny Hinn. Humans are very vicious when it comes to judging. And now the worst is when you turn that judgment against yourself. Self-abasing. You beat yourself to pulp. Probably, yes, you've done something wrong. Probably, yes, you've come short. But self-abasing is negative. It is insidious. It contributes to your self-deficiency if you're not careful. And this happened to me while growing up. See, right there, some people's calling and some people's purpose are always aborted because they feel they do not measure up in life. Self-abasement or self-abasing, it can contribute to your self-deficiency faster than you ever thought. When you engage in self-abasing behavior, you are overly self-critical. You put yourself down. You think you're being humble. No, you're diminishing your own worth. And this behavior can stem from those things we've already talked about. It can stem from a low self-esteem, deep-seated belief that you are not deserving of respect or of recognition, or it can be because you've done something wrong. It reinforces these feelings of self-deficiency in several ways. And the first one that I can think of is that it creates a negative image. You see why people say you need to do affirmations? It's because it helps in some way to reinforce a positive image. But self-abasing does the opposite. It creates a negative self-image where individuals see themselves as inherently flawed or inferior or undeserving. It leads to a cycle of self-doubt and self-criticism where you constantly compare yourself and you fall short. The second thing is that self-abasing behavior can impact how others perceive and treat an individual. Listen to this. When you are constantly putting yourself down or you diminish your own achievements, other people, they start to believe these negative assessments of yourself as well. It's your mirror. You're mirroring this thing. I don't know if I can explain this. You're mirroring these things. What you portray is what they accept. Unless someone is just highly spiritual and they keep saying, no, I see greatness in you. But the more you keep portraying yourself, basing yourself, bashing yourself, that's what you're telling people to accept. It can lead to lack of recognition or validation from others, and it becomes a vicious cycle of self-deficiency. When you're abasing yourself, it can also impact your ability to set and to achieve your goals. I mean, you are the only one who's the SI unit or the conduit through which those goals are going to be achieved. But what are you doing? beating yourself up. When someone is constantly belittling themselves or minimizing their own abilities, they may be less likely to take a new challenge or pursue new ambitions, or maybe take a, what do they call it, a risk or a dare, go on a dare. And it can limit their personal and professional growth, feeding into that vicious cycle of self-inadequacy and self-deficiency. So we've got to learn how to address this, and we've got to stop beating ourselves up. Addressing self-abasing behavior often involves challenging our negative self-talk. We need to stop it. Stop it. Stop judging. Build, like we said yesterday, this self-compassion and develop a more positive and realistic view. It might take some time, but do it constantly. I fight with my thoughts sometimes. I fight with these negative thoughts, whether when I'm judging myself and when I'm judging others. I fight with it, and it's easy for you to just slither in there and just flow into this negative spiral of self-abasement. You know how to judge other people? Now, self-abasement is judging yourself. You need to stop it. And in some cases, by the way, in some instances, you might need to go and see a therapist. You might need to go and see a counselor. Really, you might need to talk to somebody. When you come to the realization that I am my own prosecutor, I am my own devil, I'm my own accuser. They call the devil the accuser of the brethren. I'm my own accuser. I accuse myself successfully. See, if that continues to happen, you know what's happening? You are robbing yourself of success. You're robbing yourself of the glory that you're supposed to exude daily. So we need to start looking up. And if we cannot do this alone, get a focus group or a discussion group or self-help group, or whatever it is, or go and pay someone some money, some counselor, some therapist, and they help you to heal. Go and talk to a pastor, go and pray, or whatever it is. Let me give you a spiritual solution. Get close to God and have intimacy with God, because God is going to speak into your soul and into your very spirit, and is going to kill all these feelings of deficiency. You cannot continue feeling deficient just after coming out of God's presence and having an awesome intimate time with God in prayer and in spiritual warfare and so on. Do that, but don't let another day pass and you're still wallowing in your own feelings of inadequacy or feelings of self-deficiency. There's a healthy place where we estimate ourselves and we know that this is where I am weak. But then there is an extreme place where we are ruled by what we perceive to be our weaknesses, and therefore our light is dimmed, our glory fades. That's not where we're supposed to be. Let's act on it immediately. Tomorrow we're going to continue talking about the manifestations of self-deficiency. We've already covered 3. Tomorrow we're going to be looking at the 4th. Until then, thank you so very much for staying tuned, and bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.